welcome back to Mayfield Ranch. I'm Katie. Today we're going to plant all these tomatoes. So I'm going to burn holes in the garden fabric and we're going to get the tomatoes planted. First I'm going to lay them out just to kind of see where we're going to put them, just make sure there's good spacing. Era's finishing up doing the zip ties. So if you watched our last video, we showed you just how we put in the garden fabric. We put the T-posts in and the cattle panels. I'll put a tag right here, so if you want to check that video out, you can. Just click right here and you can watch that one. But we're going to get our tomatoes going in right now. Okay, so here's all my tomatoes. Some of them are pretty tiny, so let me give you an example. So like, here's one here. This one's a Jersey Devil, not super tall, maybe a little bit over a foot, but there's other guys. This guy that is a chocolate pear tomato, it's a little bit bigger. So we've got a variety of sizes, a variety of tomatoes, some heirloom, just a variety. So I'm gonna lay them out, kind of see how I want to space them. I'll take you guys along. We'll decide where we're gonna put these and then we'll burn some holes. Okay guys, I got everything all laid out. Let me take you around and show you exactly what I'm gonna put where, and then I'll burn the holes and we'll get to planting. Okay you guys, so let me show you exactly what I'm gonna put where. I kind of laid everything out. On this side over here, I have 6 Jersey Devil, and I'm gonna match it on the other side of this trellis. So there's 6 Jersey Devil right over there on that side that'll grow up the other side. So down from that, so I've got 2 of these chocolate pear tomatoes. Those are already starting to fruit. So we're gonna put those right next to the Jersey Devils on this side. And then next, I've got 2 Abe Lincolns. So we're gonna put those. Mama wants to talk to us. Okay, so next to those chocolate pear tomatoes, I'm gonna put these 2 Abe Lincoln tomatoes. That's next. And then up front, I've got these Sweet Million. These are hybrid and they're all laid out. I've got 6 of those that'll go like right here along the front. Okay, now we're on this side, so we'll talk about what's gonna go on this side. So I already mentioned I've got those Jersey Devils. So I've got 6 Jersey Devils that are gonna go right along the back right there. And then next I have 2 Cherokee Purples. And after that, I've got 2 more Abe Lincoln on this side, so that'll match up with the other side. Next, I have yellow cherry tomatoes. So right next to those Abe Lincolns, I'll have 2 yellow cherry tomatoes. Okay, and after those yellow cherry tomatoes, I have these blue cream berries. Now these are cherry tomatoes, and I thought they might look kind of cool next to those yellow tomatoes, so we'll see how that grows later in the season. Next in our lineup, we have the Super Sweet 100. And in the front here, right next to that Super Sweet 100, I have this Napa Chardonnay cherry tomato. So I just have one of those. So I'm gonna put that right up front on this trellis. It'll be right up front right here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you from the inside just so I don't get it mixed up. But this is our second set of trellises here. So I've got Early Girl hybrid tomatoes. I've got 6 of those. So they're gonna be planted just on the outside right over there. Okay, so next to the Early Girls, I've got 3 of these orange accordion tomatoes. These are heirlooms, and I'm pretty excited to grow those. Hopefully those will end up being really pretty. Next to that, I've got 2 of these Sun Sugar hybrids. And then after those Sun Sugar, I have 3 of these white Tomasil. I'm not sure how to say it. Let me show you guys. Okay, and as we reach up front here on this trellis, after those white Tomasil tomatoes, I had 3 of those. I have 1 of these Sun Gold tomatoes. Now that's a hybrid, so we'll grow that one. And then 1 pineapple tomato. Now that pineapple tomato is gonna just go right there on the second trellis. So that's where that one's gonna be. I also only had 1 of those. All right, so now we're on this end here of the second trellis. I've got Better Boy tomatoes that I'm gonna put in. So I've got 8 of the Better Boy tomatoes, 2 more of those orange accordion tomatoes, 1 of the Sun Sugar hybrid, 3 of the beefsteak tomatoes, and then I'm gonna put 2 of these big cherry tomatoes. I'd actually like to squeeze in more, so the big cherry tomatoes are gonna be right here up front. I'd really like to squeeze in more, but I'm gonna limit to 16 per row. That'll put them not quite 1 foot apart, but pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna try to evenly space these holes out the best I can. I need to fit 4 per cattle panel. The cattle panels are 4 feet. They overlap a little bit, so it'll be slightly, a little bit closer together than 1 foot, but we'll be pretty close. So I'm gonna try to burn my holes here and we'll get started. So I'm spacing them out just as perfectly as I can. I'm not measuring or anything, but it's not too bad to do 4 per cattle panel section. So that's working out. I would say just be a little bit careful. So we have this water hose right here. Make sure it doesn't stay on fire when it burns. If it does, I just stepped on it and put it out. It was fine. But that water hose right over there is pretty close, so I'm just being a little bit careful. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to speed this up or edit this part so you can see exactly how long it takes me to put the 16 holes in, just burning them. I'm just using this little propane torch. So I'll get started. I'll just show you how long it takes. That's it, pretty quick. Do be a little bit careful. I did hold it a little too long on one of them. It heats up pretty good, so it'll burn the hole a little bit bigger. But this is what we're using. Let me show you. Benzomatic, just a little propane torch that we already had for something else. This little attachment goes on the tank. This is working out really good. So if you guys want to do this, grab yourself one of these. This is super quick. I wanted to burn it, not cut it. If you do cut this, it could fray. So I watched a few videos to kind of prepare. It could fray, and we didn't want that. So anytime we want to cut it, we're burning it. So just a little tip, do plan on getting yourself some sort of burner. If you don't have something like this, you could just light a little fire, get yourself like a tin can, heat it up. You can burn perfect circles. This actually looks pretty good. I'll bring you in closer just so you can see exactly what they look like.
What's that?
Hey you guys, I got all the holes burned in, so now I just need to plant 64 tomato plants. I better get cracking. So these are my Jersey doubles. The roots are, it's pretty root bound. This has gotten pretty good size. So I'm just gonna take off a couple of the lower stems, and I'm gonna take off any suckers that are on here. I don't need those. And then we'll plant it. Shovel. So I mistakenly thought this was gonna be super easy to dig since we just rototilled it this morning, but I was wrong. So I got this little garden shovel. Try to create some space here. Now I purposely dug the holes really small because we don't want any weeds. So it would be a little bit easier if we made the holes a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to do that. I don't want to ever have to come out here and weed eat. Break up the roots a little bit on this guy since it is so root bound. So hopefully when it gets planted, it can kind of spread out. Okay, you guys, I got this first row of 16 planted, and that took me about a half an hour. So I gotta try to go a little quicker so I can get all of this done. So like I said, one of the challenges is I burned the holes kind of small. I did that intentionally so that weeds wouldn't grow. It is a little challenging to kind of dig the hole here with this little shovel, even though the shovel's pretty narrow. And the other thing that I noticed about planting using this method
is I'm not digging the holes very deep. So typically I'm planting a tomato really deeply into the ground, maybe a foot or two when I'm doing it in raised beds. And that gives it an opportunity to develop really healthy root systems, and they grow great. So we'll see how this plays out, but I'm only putting this in maybe twice as deep as it's already planted in the little cup.
Okay, we'll just finish off planting with these beefsteaks. About 3 more to plant, and then we're all done. So it's definitely been a long day out here working out in the garden, but hopefully this pays off and ends up working out and we don't have any weeds. If we don't have any weeds, it'll be 100% worth it. If we get weeds again, then we are not doing a ground garden again. This is our 4th year trying to do the ground garden, and we've tried different techniques each time, so I think we've given it a genuine effort. And I've seen this work for a lot of other people, so I'm actually really hopeful that it works for us. So we'll see. And if it does, then you guys can see every step, see exactly what we did. And hopefully if you're struggling with weeds in your garden, then this will be something that will work for you also. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see real well, but I'm able to put this in the ground about half again as deep as that little cup it was in. So I think this method would be perfect if you had little bugs. I think my tomato plants are a little bit bigger than are ideal for planting this way. I'm used to growing them in the raised beds, so I like to get them started, get them a little bit bigger before I plant them. In this case, I think smaller plants actually end up being just a little bit easier.
Okay, you guys, we're all done. So we've got 63 tomato plants planted. We're 1 short because I only had 15, not 16 on this last row here. So there's 1 less better boy than I showed you in the beginning, but we're all done. We wrapped up a long day of work. I'm going to give you guys updates on how this garden is growing, and more importantly, how this weed fabric performs over the season.